where we have one weekend off and you're like, oh my God, how do we live? I don't know what to do. How do I manage having a weekend off? But you had like years off.
Yeah. So I think when I was in previous bands, we always had that community where even though we might not be on tour or we might not be gigging, we were planning merch. We were planning songs that we were going to write. We were still very much doing stuff in the background, even though we weren't performing live on stage. We were still doing stuff every week for the band. And then when I left that last band, the Ramonas, it was really, really difficult because, again, my networking was all within the punk scene.
Yeah.
And I suddenly had no one to play for.
Yeah. Come on.
Yeah. This is a somewhat spontaneous episode.
Hi.
Hey, everyone. How's your week been?
We've had a really busy week again. I feel like we've been saying this for the past few weeks, but it's been freaking hectic.
It's just been real life. Our day jobs sometimes get a bit hectic. Lauren works in construction and I work in education.
Yeah.
So that's kind of our offstage life, is earning the crust through those things.
It really is. And like, because
and then gigs at weekends.
But your gigging life hasn't been that hectic. It's more been our like you said, our offstage life. And I've been absolutely knackered. Like 7 o'clock, I've had one drink and I'm out like a light on the lounge.
You drink every night, eh, babe?
Oh, no, I wouldn't go that far. Maybe the last few days. This week on the Offstage Life podcast, we are talking about what it's like just to have a quote unquote normal weekend, a normal life. It's been a hectic few weeks for us, and I've actually been wanting to do an episode about just what our normal weekend is like, which is actually our offstage life. And this weekend has presented itself nicely to us.
That's right. I had a weekend off gigging, which is nice. It's nice to rest the mind, body and soul for a weekend and do quote unquote normal things. Spend some time with my wife, spend some time with friends, go see Sydney and other places around Sydney. And like you said, just do normal everyday life stuff.
Yeah.
So we wanted to discuss the topic of how to relax when you have some time off. Is it easy for musicians and people in general to do when they live a busy, hectic lifestyle? Or is it something that takes a little bit of practice to let yourself have a rest, to de-stress, calm the nervous system down?
I actually think it takes practice. I think it's a skill.
I think, like anything, you have to be aware that you're a stress head and you're not relaxing in the first place.
Definitely.
I definitely find that difficult because I have certain things in life that I'm a complete control freak about.
I forgot we had a full discussion about that this weekend as well, didn't we?
We did.
I forgot about that. When we were planning for this episode, I was writing notes about everything we did this weekend, and I totally forgot that we had a full-blown conversation about how you need to relax. Cleaning comes last. We need to spend time together.
That's right.
But it's hard.
It is hard because I guess when you're used to just going and being busy all the time, that's your default setting.
Yeah.
So then you want to bring that into your home life too, but then you can neglect what's really important, which is connection, spending time together.
Yeah.
And experiencing life.
So one of the really strangest things I found this weekend was that because I'm used to only spending really one solid night with you a weekend.
Yeah.
I'd say probably two. So it'd be Friday nights and Sunday nights.
Yeah.
Sometimes not the Friday night either. I woke up this morning, which was Sunday morning, thinking, is this Monday? Do I have to go to work today? Does Kate have to go to work?
Really disorientating.
It honestly threw me completely off. I genuinely thought that was it. Our weekend was over because we don't actually get to spend that much time together. And I was so excited when I actually came to, and I was like, oh, we get a whole nother day together.
That's right. And even in the mornings when I've gigged, I wake up later because I've got back later or earlier in the morning, however you want to frame it. So having 2 mornings to like watch TV in bed and
just do whatever,
hang out was really nice.
Yeah, it's really nice, but it's also takes a lot to get used to again, doesn't it?
Yeah.
All of a sudden being around each other for a whole, it's 72 hours almost. It's really weird. It's great, but it's like, wow, okay, what do we do with this time? This is so much time. And for other people, maybe it's not enough time.
Yeah.
But for us, it honestly felt like 3 weekends put all into one.
It kind of felt like we went away for the weekend or we had a holiday because we intentionally decided on a couple of places that we wanted to go and things that we wanted to do this weekend.
Mind you, though, Friday night, I had 1 drink, literally 1 whiskey. 7 o'clock, I woke myself up snoring on the lounge, went back to sleep, and I think you woke me up at 9 and was like, come on, let's go to bed.
That
I was done. I was gone.
Yeah.
Gone. What did you do in those 2 hours?
I don't know. I think I watched Homeland and did some social media. Yeah. The time just goes, doesn't it? Especially if you're like watching and scrolling, because I can't concentrate on one thing. I have to do both.
So Saturday, we went to the Camden Show, which for anyone that doesn't live in Sydney wouldn't have probably a clue what that is. You probably would if you're from regional New South Wales.
Do you think people around Australia would have heard of the Easter Show?
Oh, yeah, the Easter Show.
Does that happen in other states?
The Royal Easter Show, it's called.
Or is it like a New South Wales thing?
I don't actually know. I think it might be maybe just one for the whole country.
Yeah, maybe.
But I'm sure other states would have like their own, like what we went to on Saturday, the Camden Show. There'd be lots of those around the country.
Yeah, different shows for animals and...
Yeah. So I don't even know how to explain what the Camden Show is.
Because coming from England, I had never experienced these kind of shows. So we have school fetes, village fetes, and I think you guys do here in Australia too.
Well, we definitely used to when I was younger.
But we definitely didn't have anything like the Easter Show. I remember the first time that we went to the Royal Easter Show in the city, the really big one where thousands of people go. And there's wood chopping competitions and animal best of shows.
And even the best of like fruit and vegetables, like they can grow massive.
That's right.
And show jumping, like the horses and pig like racing and
food exhibitions and
all sorts of things. Show bags
and the show bags. That was a whole new world for me too. So
performances, rides.
Now it just feels normal because I've lived in this country for 5 years or so. But yeah, that was very different to the UK. And maybe in some of the more counties that are more country-like.
Maybe,
they would have things similar to that on a smaller scale, but there's definitely not a big show that I can think of where you do wood chopping competitions and stuff.
So the Camden Show is just like a smaller version of the Royal Easter Show, which is held in the city of Sydney. And Camden Show is held out in it's not rural New South Wales. It's not even regional. It's on the border of like country.
Kind of suburbia, countryside.
Country now.
Yeah.
But a lot of people that come to these shows and are part of the shows live in regional New South Wales. And it was quite interesting. We were talking about it while we were there. It's such a different life, and these people that come up with their best cattle and their pigs and their goats and all these different things and their horses, and, they do all these competitions. It's such a different reality. And, for us, we're we're not
working on the land. We're working in industry and education, and it's a very fast-paced, different kind of fast-paced life. Whereas I guess working the land and being connected to country
still has its
you'd have hectic days.
Yeah.
You'd have stressful days
100%.
where, crops get spoiled and
It's just
disease strikes your animals.
different.
But it was really nice to see that pace of life, actually.
It makes me remember how big Australia is. We live in such small pockets of land in Australia, very populated pockets. But actually, we only live in probably 3% of the land, and the rest of it is full-blown regional, rural country Australia, and it's massive.
Just hectares and hectares of land for
And
farming, and
everyone that lives on that land lives like that.
I feel like we need to talk about the camels as well.
Yes, you didn't know about the camels?
I didn't know about the camels that live just off the land now. I presume they're owned by people, or have they just started breeding and living?
I can't remember, but they're wild camels. They're literally wild camels that live in the middle of Australia.
Yeah.
You were like, there's camels here. I was like, there's camels.
I've never seen a free-range camel, but then we haven't traveled Australia, but I've seen it on TV, and they're literally just like you would have cows or horses roaming the land. There's camels.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to know the history of that and how the camels first came here for trading, maybe.
I think it was, yeah.
And then how they ended up just free-ranging it.
It's freaking weird.
There's lots of really interesting facts about the land and the country that we live on.
The other interesting, I wouldn't say it was interesting, it was a bit triggering, was when we're walking around the show and we saw, the local dance school doing their performances, and I, as a dancer, used to do fates, and I hated every second of doing these fates.
Which is interesting because you loved dancing until a certain age where you kind of got over it, right?
Yeah, correct.
So what made fates so cringeworthy for you?
Because we either had to dance on these put together old rickety stages, and I felt like my toe was going to snap off from the bit of wood that was sticking up in one of the bits of the stage.
Like a pallet stage.
It was so bad. Or we were dancing on what's it called? The asphalt. Like literally just on the asphalt on the ground. And it was either 40 degrees or it was 5 degrees, and it was fucking cold or fucking hot.
Yeah. If the asphalt was like 40 degrees, that would burn your feet.
And also, I don't know, they were held at school fates. So it was like the schools and all the parents and probably people I went to school with, and it was embarrassing, and I just hated them. The only thing I did like was getting the fairy floss afterwards.
Was that the rewards?
Probably was. I actually just remembered that.
What about the reward you used to get after your Eisteddfods?
What was that?
In the city, didn't you and your dad get a reward after?
No, that was different. That wasn't Eisteddfods. So,
okay, tell us about that.
So I used to be part of, what was it called? I think it was called the Sydney School Dance Company.
Okay.
And it was you had to audition every year, and there was like a junior and senior ensemble. And it was all schools around the Sydney and regional Sydney area got to try out for this ensemble. We would rehearse, I think it was every Tuesday night at the Emerald Theatre, which was cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was kids that travelled from Wollongong or Newcastle to go to this.
It's a big commitment.
It was. And my poor dad, and this was back before the M5 went all the way to the city.
Through all the towns rather than the motorway.
Yeah, motorway didn't exist to that point in that time. And he used to go get me pasta from somewhere in the city, and that was my reward. But I did get to dance at the Sydney Dance Awards that year, which was at the Opera House.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
That was
the Emerald Theatre, Opera House.
Yeah.
Sydney Olympics. You ticked off, and the Village Fates.
The Village freaking Fates. But yeah, that was really cool. Anyway, we really went off subject there.
Off the road a little then, didn't we?
We did. I don't know how we went from Fates to
I think I asked you about your dancing career and
it just went on and on and on.
Treats. It was the fairy floss. That's what did it. Fairy floss. From fairy floss to pasta and performing at the opera house.
Yeah. I know you feel like this sometimes, but I want you to explain to our listeners, if you feel like it, how you find it hard to stop and you feel guilty often for just not doing what you deem to not be doing anything.
Yeah, it's again just a perspective in my mind, I suppose, where because I gig so often when I'm not, a bit like what you were saying about it was weird, like me not arriving back at 2 in the morning and then you didn't know what day it was the next day because of that routine. Like that's weird for me too. I have in the back of my mind, I've got to be home by 4 p.m. so I can start getting ready, load the drums, go through that whole routine. And so when that's not there, it's like a bit destabilizing, you know? Bit like if we go on holiday
Yeah.
for a week, it takes me 6 days to relax
Yeah.
because I guess it's just tension. And there's always that thought of, should I? It's the shoulds. Should I be working? Is it okay that I'm not working this weekend because I'm not earning money for the family? Will people be upset that we're not playing a show? They enjoy coming to see us play. So I start thinking about the fans and other people.
And your head just goes
And it just
down a rabbit
starts
hole.
tumbling away, really.
So you've been basically full-time gigging now for, this will be your 3rd year in the Frocks.
Yeah, in my current band.
Yeah. So how do you think you managed in the break that you had from being in the Ramonas
It's very difficult.
to now when we have one weekend off and you're like, oh my God, how do we live? I don't know what to do. How do I manage having a weekend off? But you had like years off.
Yeah. So I think when I was in previous bands, we always had that community where even though we might not be on tour or we might not be gigging, we were planning merch. We were planning songs that we were going to write. We were still very much doing stuff in the background, even though we weren't performing live on stage. We were still doing stuff every week for the band. And then when I left that last band, the Ramonas, it was really, really difficult because, again, my networking was all within the punk scene.
Yeah.
And I suddenly had no one to play for. And it was really hard to get a gig in a regular gigging band where geographically we all live close enough
to do it.
to have a band. I did the odd fill-ins and sessions and freelance stuff for people within that community, which was great. And I definitely missed the community and that sisterhood of having your best mates that you hang out with and play music.
Yeah.
So when that's taken away, it's really difficult.
It's really difficult.
Also, just on a musicianship level, for me, playing drums is like going to the gym and decompressing. So although I don't practice as much as I probably should,
you practice loads.
I do practice
a lot.
And I'm always thinking about it. So even if I'm not actually physically tapping away at
You're
anything,
mentally rehearsing.
I'm mentally rehearsing. I can't listen to a song or watch a music documentary without going through what they're doing in my head. And in fact, we were driving into the city this weekend and Lauren goes to me, I can always tell when you're drumming in your head.
Yeah.
What do I do?
So for anyone watching on YouTube, you do this and it's so subtle.
You said,
It's just like this bop. It's like a little bird.
Like
it's just like
my pigeon move.
It's like a pigeon bop.
So we'll have music on the car stereo and I will be drumming in my head. So like it's not just I'm nodding my head along to the music.
I can tell Kate's actually drumming.
I'm like, because it's like, Phil, beat, 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 Phil. I'm like moving my head probably in those ways. And also I'm silent and I'm not talking and I'm just staring into space.
And that's when I know you're drumming,
Yeah.
mentally drumming.
So even if I'm not actually practicing and decompressing, then I guess I'm mentally doing it.
And I think, you know, even when you're not gigging, we're just always surrounded by music. Even so, like this morning, we watched an amazing documentary.
Yeah.
Everyone watch it. It's the Red Hot Chili Peppers documentary in regards to the
How they
original
formed.
guitarist. What was his name? Hillel. It was fascinating to actually see the ins and outs of exactly how they formed and how many people were involved, not just within that particular band, in creating what we know now as
And
the Red Hot Chili
encouraging
Peppers.
them.
Yeah, it was incredible.
Yeah, it's a really good doco. Definitely watch that.
So that was our morning this morning. But again, we're surrounded by music, which then inspired us to be like, let's go to Newtown, which is in the inner west of Sydney.
It's a very creative suburb.
Yeah, and we're not from there. Every now and then we like to have a taste of the city life.
That's right.
It's so funny. So we went to Newtown today. And I always really enjoy going on our little adventures to different parts of Sydney because I think it makes us reflect and think about things and also just be really present, because most of our weekends, it's so chockers
It has to
full
be
of
structured, doesn't
we
it?
have to have such a structured weekend. We have to make sure we do the groceries. We have to make sure we spend time together, do some housework, spend time with Bodhi.
Who's our dog?
And
Usually stay local.
yeah, we
well.
don't get to like travel out much.
It's very inspiring
Yeah.
to go places, which sounds so basic.
Sounds so bad.
But
It does, doesn't it?
But it's so easy to forget to do that, to live in your little 10, 20K radius and not go see a slightly different culture in the town that you live in.
Even like when we were in the city today, we
Yeah.
parked outside of Newtown
To
walk in, and we parked in Erskineville, which is basically Newtown. It's just outside a bit. And even just taking a different route, you know, seeing different
That's
things.
such a great perspective, isn't it? Take a different route, as I would say.
Mhm.
Even if it's you walk to work every day or you walk to the gym, or you're driving somewhere, just go a different way. Get your brain working.
Yeah.
Inspire yourself, because even for us, like you say, taking that different route into Newtown, seeing some of the old terraced houses, all the plants people have around, the coffee shop lifestyle,
And
the way people dress. It was just, the sun was out. It was just really inspiring.
And I really love the old houses
Like
in
the
Sydney.
Federation.
Yeah, are they called the terrace houses,
I think
aren't
they're
they?
just terraced houses, yeah.
Oh, I wish we could afford one. They're just beautiful, and I love seeing the architecture. And I also really love visiting those places because it reminds me a lot of England.
That's right, yeah.
Where we lived in England was very quaint, very posh. Part of it was very beautiful architecture, old buildings.
Lots of green spaces.
Really green and leafy, wasn't it? And this part of Sydney is also very much like that, except the buildings are very, very different.
It's got those kind of London vibes as well there.
Yeah. And we're talking today actually how similar it is, the feeling of it is. However, it's so freaking hot here. We get paid a lot more here.
That's right. Can see why a lot of Brits and people from all over the world move to Australia or do, like visas when they're in their 20s and then they end up
and they never go back.
Not going back. It is a long way back home.
It is.
So that's the downside, is that you don't get to just pop to London for the weekend anymore. It costs $3,000 probably for a flight home. but it is beautiful. Weather's great. Get paid so much more.
Yeah.
So much to explore as well. There's so many parts of Australia that I'm dying to go to.
It's massive. This
And
country's too big to see.
So many places that we've been already that I want to return to because they're just absolutely amazing. Can you guys see anything different in the picture here on YouTube? Its name is Pablo.
Pablo the cockatoo.
Pablo the cockatoo.
I need to get it down.
Is here on the shelf. Let's introduce you to Pablo.
Look at it. I am in love with this cockatoo.
You know, its eyes actually look kind of realistic.
Oh my God, they really do. So anyone that knows me knows that I am obsessed with birds. Don't know where this obsession
And you're
came
a lesbian.
from. Oh, well done.
Thank
well
you.
done. Yes. So as soon as I saw Pablo in the shop today, I was like, and I think you knew that I wanted it.
Yeah, and sometimes you just gotta, you know, go with the
Treat
flow.
your bird well.
Treat your bird well. Buy her a cockatoo.
Oh, babe. That's really bad.
A cockatoo.
Yes. So this is Pablo. Pablo's going to live in the podcast room. And yeah, I think it's going to be our mascot for the Offstage Life.
Maybe we could have Pablo's question time.
That's a great idea.
Maybe you guys could send in questions.
Yes.
Every week. And Pablo can ask us the questions. It can be Pablo's segment on the show.
That is brilliant.
What do you think, Pablo?
I know what we can do also. I'll post a question box every week on Instagram.
Let's do it.
Every week on Instagram. The days may change, so you're going to have to like and subscribe.
That's right.
On Instagram and YouTube, so you can keep up to date when I do post them. And the first, let's say 5 to 10 comments that get in can be Pablo's segment.
Yeah,
That's so funny.
Maybe we'll start or end with Pablo's segment, and we can read out some of the questions.
I love that
idea. Don't hold back as well. Let's make these questions really interesting.
Yeah. Well done.
Like full holding the bird.
I was patting it. Who made it?
I don't know. It's resin.
Do we know the artist?
No.
Oh. Well, we got it from this really cool shop that we always go to in Newtown. Do we know the name of it? No.
It had something to do with the dog. It's like a blue cattle dog. But yes, here we go, Pablo. Should we put Pablo back on his shelf?
I'll put him back later. I wanted to ask you some questions.
Me or the viewers?
You.
Or Pablo?
You.
Me.
Not Pablo. Pablo can have a rest tonight. What was your favorite thing this weekend?
I think today, going to Newtown, walking around, looking at the street art, getting an amazing hot chocolate whilst we're out,
good.
buying Pablo, and just not worrying about stuff and just hanging out with you and having fun.
That's nice.
So quite a lot of highlights there.
Yeah.
How about you? Also the breakfast that you cooked this morning.
Mm-hmm.
I'd been craving.
I made you 2 meals today. I think it's your turn tomorrow.
That's fine.
My favorite moment this weekend was, I actually had a couple.
Okay.
It was all of today was awesome for the same reasons. Getting Pablo, because I just love bright things, and especially when it's an animal as well, even better. Getting to spend the day with you and Lucy yesterday.
Yeah, that was
at
cool.
the Camden Show. That was really fun. And actually just having a full weekend with you.
Yeah, it was good.
Really, really good. What felt weird?
Not playing. I do miss not playing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like there's this like tug of war happening where I'm loving just relaxing and taking some breaths and spending time with you. But at the same time, I love getting that energy out. So, yeah.
And playing with all the girls and
yeah,
just rocking out. Why are you laughing?
Playing with all the girls.
You know what I'm playing with, like
Play
your
music.
bandmates.
Playing music with my friends.
That's right. Playing with the girls. Dirty-minded person you are.
Back in my 20s, but not now.
What did you learn about yourself this weekend?
I learnt that I definitely need to have a clean space before I can relax, but that doesn't mean that you need to have
Is
a
that
clean
something you've just
space
learned this weekend?
to relax, and that our priorities are different, and so maybe
Yeah.
meeting in the middle is
Healthy?
going to be probably better for my mental health anyway, and
That's
better
true.
for yours.
Yeah.
So that was something that I learned from our little domestic that we had.
What did I learn this weekend? I'm trying to think what I learned. What did I learn? Do. Oh, we watched a documentary about plastic and how bad plastic is. I already knew that, so it's not like I learned something, but I think it just reconfirmed in my brain how bad plastic is. So we went to IKEA on the way home from Newtown today and bought, I think it was like 10 new containers, glass ones, glass jugs.
So we're going to replace all of our plastic Tupperware.
We're going to try and replace as much plastic as we can, even though it's not really possible, because it's just highlighted how much freaking plastic is around us.
Yeah, and how much of it gets into your body.
Even our poor plants. We have a plastic jug that I use to water our plants that sits there.
Yeah.
And they're going to get fed plastic too.
Yeah, it's not good.
Ran over. Rate the weekend out of 10.
8.
Why not a 10?
Didn't go to a drum shop.
Oh, God. You're surrounded by drums all the time.
Also, I feel slightly disappointed that I didn't go see Mark Hoppus.
Yes. You could have.
I was so tired, I fell asleep on the sofa too. Another time.
Yes. I would rate it a 9.
Great. Well done.
Well done, everyone.
That's right.
So that's it for the podcast this week. It's just highlighting exactly who we are in our offstage life. When Kate's not gigging, when I'm not run off my feet in my hectic job and falling asleep by 7 o'clock at night, even though I did on Friday. And we're just normal people just doing normal shit, but
it just is what it is. And then this week's going to be a lot more music based for me, at least.
Oh yeah, what have you got on this week?
So this week I have band practice. I have a gig at the Colonial
on Friday,
and then a private function on Saturday.
Oh, is that this weekend?
Yeah.
Oh, so I'm home alone all weekend.
You're home alone all weekend. So you're going to have to think of something to do. Maybe you and Pablo
can spend some time together.
Spend some time getting to know each other, have a wine and chat.
That's funny. Well, this week I have some just work shit. Work's hectic at the moment.
Yeah. Are you going to come to a gig on Friday?
No.
Oh.
The weekend after I will.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, hope you guys are enjoying. Like I said earlier, I'm going to be putting a chat box questionnaire up on Instagram. It's going to be in a story. So please don't miss out. Send us your questions in that. And it's going to be Pablo's segment moving forward, which I freaking love.
First 5 questions Pablo will ask.
Yeah. And it can be
answer
absolutely anything.
Yeah, let's say absolutely anything. And then if they're too
risque
or dodgy, then we probably will. Well, we might answer
It depends
them.
on what they are.
Yeah, we might answer them.
As usual, guys, thank you for supporting us. I think this is like our 7th episode, maybe.
Sounds about right.
Can't believe it's already at 7. This is our first season, so we are going to take a proper break in a couple of episodes. Maybe.
I reckon we'll get to 10 and take a break.
Yeah. Please like and subscribe on YouTube. Our Instagram page is the Offstage Life Podcast. We are on all platforms. And you can find us on YouTube specifically if you would like to also watch the podcast, not just listen to us. So hope you guys have a great week. We're going to have a busy one, but a good one. And we'll see you next time.
Jog on and jog off.
Jog on and jog off.